According to the WHO, 15 million jobs are required, and some of the jobs which are required in the next couple of years has been concentrated and curated by Amrak to produce those human capital for the future.
There are close to 340,000 students that sit for O-levels each year. There's about 90,000 that drop out. Then there's another 180,000 that sit for A-levels, for 40,000 slots in university.
The moment you enter to Amrak, you have your student life. You have all the restaurants, the bars, the community, the extracurricular activities, bringing all the people in together.
Why not really position Sri Lanka as a hub for education, something that we failed to capitalize on, something that Malaysia and Singapore beat us to? I don't think we are behind now. I think we need to catch up. Sri Lanka, since the 1980s, hasn't really evolved much in terms of how we produce labor force. Apart from the 9% of GDP that is contributed by our blue-collar workforce, our caregivers and the maids and construction workers that work in the Emirates and other parts of the world, we really haven't evolved much in terms of professional development. So with that in mind, Amrak was set up to cater to a requirement that we saw was very evident in the higher education space. There are close to 340,000 students that sit for O-levels each year. There's about 90,000 that drop out. Then there's another 180,000 that sit for A-levels, for 40,000 slots in university. So all in all, you have close to 250,000 students or 250,000 youth that seek higher education in terms of vocational training, in terms of a job pathway. So that became our higher purpose, that addressable market. How do we develop our youth? How do we present to them a platform to be globally competitive? How do we instill soft skills? How do we instill empathy, critical thinking, digital literacy? And how do we honestly bridge the gap that we see in students coming out of our universities and our academic system to the disparity that we see in industry? Because the skill gap is so large, we knew we had to come up with something to change that and to disrupt that.
Well, Amrak has positioned itself to excel in academia, bringing a senate who makes our academic decisions, curating courses, whether it be in nursing, biomedical science, biomedical engineering, MLT, phlebotomy, or even any professional program. It's all tailor-made to build good health professionals for 2030. According to the WHO, 15 million jobs are required, and some of the jobs which are required in the next couple of years has been concentrated and curated by Amrak to produce those human capital for the future. But not only that, Amrak builds a good ecosystem. The moment you enter to Amrak, you have your student life. You have all the restaurants, the bars, the community, the extracurricular activities, bringing all the people in together and giving them the life of what you do when you go into students, having your freshers week, having your parties, enjoying your time. And something which is also very important in Amrak is we have got a library of knowledge. It's not just what you study, but knowledgeable books with great authors where anyone can go in, read, and enhance their knowledge. And knowledge is a very important thing. It's not about just building the best nurse. You want to build a beast nurse, you want to build a nurse who has a gamut or has an equal or has an horizon of all areas in order to build the best personality nurses. That's what we do. We teach them art, we teach them sales, we teach them all kinds of things which makes them better individuals to serve people with gratitude, to serve people with empathy. And that's something which we've done and curated to build really good human professionals. And a very important part is changing the whole transnational education system. Where we're trying to do collaborative learnings with our partner universities. So there's joint projects with our Sri Lankan students and the foreign students who are studying to make their work more fun and make the experience studying healthcare way more appealing, because it's very important. It's not about just studying nursing or studying biomedical science, but it's about developing character. And that is something which Amrak does with the master classes we bring in, the professionals we bring in to teach. We kind of build individuals who will be the future and who will position Sri Lanka as a good human capital provider in healthcare. Well, it's the whole experience joining Amrak, where all the students who come into our doors get the best education. With our Senate sitting on the top and making our academic decisions, we make sure that all the students get the right education they need. At the same time, within the same ecosystem, we have the placement partners, whether it's international or local. So each school has different pathways, whether you want to go to US, Canada, UK, Australia, or even the Philippines. And Amrak has positioned itself to be a global player in healthcare and producing good allied professionals for Sri Lanka to change the trajectory of how we produce human capital in Sri Lanka. And the experience that comes in with the students who walk into Amrak, they get the whole gamut experience of being in the whole healthcare ecosystem. With Durden's being the affiliated partner, and with the new things which are happening with the Vision 2023 project at Durden's, it all forms into what the 2030 plan is in healthcare, which is changing the norms and building the right professionals we need in Sri Lanka and also for the world.
The vision for Amrak is simple. We strive to provide youth a platform to be globally competitive, specifically in the fields of allied healthcare. Amrak is also a TEDx licensee. We are recognized by the Sustainable Development Goals and the UNDP for the impact that we are having on our youth base. We have over 500 plus students enrolled at Amrak in our full-time courses. 12% of our student body is in some form of financial or education subsidized scheme. With that, our target is to get to 25% of the student population on education subsidies. And the vision is simple. It is to provide youth a platform to reshape our labor force and to provide a platform for our youth to be globally competitive, regardless of socioeconomic status, regardless of race or background. In terms of inclusivity, 90% of our student body is female. In terms of our staff, we have staff personnel lecturers that are both from Sri Lanka and also external, like those from the Philippines. We have some that are British that are working with our students. So the idea is to really build a multicultural, diverse ecosystem. And Sri Lanka can do that. And we have the resources to do that. We have the platform to do that. Something that's not been done in this country in terms of positioning Sri Lanka is as an education hub. And it's high time we did that. In terms of transnational education, we work directly with, for example, the Ministry of Health in Rwanda, where we are trying to get their specialized nurses to come and work in our hospitals, in our high volume sites, as part of their continuous professional development. Similarly, there are other countries, not only in Africa, but in the UK, where students can come and study here as part of their study abroad programs. They can volunteer, they can teach English. And some of our partner universities has expressed interest in this. So why not really position Sri Lanka as a hub for education, something that we failed to capitalize on, something that Malaysia and Singapore beat us to. I don't think we are behind now. I think we need to catch up.